Well, welcome to our weekly prediction segment of On Point Live. Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Ferragamo, along with Hall of Famer Jackie Slater. And Jackie, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, but the big question is, how are you? Where
Well, I'm
where
good
are
after
you?
considering. Well, I've been traveling all over South America, Jackie. I was in Argentina. Now I'm in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And Jackie, you wouldn't believe the amount of food and how really, really good the food is here. I mean, especially the meats. I can't finish it all, but you, you would have a ball with this kind of food we have here,
I'm sure I
man.
would, but so why are you tempting me about being there with you by telling me about all this good food right now when I can't have any?
Because you're going to just have to travel and take Annie down here to South America and enjoy some of this great meat they have. But anyway, as we're talking to so many things, I'm glad we had this opportunity. We ought to go into our weekly prediction, Jackie. And we're headed into week 8, right? And we're approaching the midway part of the regular season. And I have to review what we've done so far. Okay, I have a 62 winning percentage. You have a 61 winning percentage out of 90 games. I lead you by one
Pretty
game. That's
pretty
close.
close. That's very
It's
close.
really
Very
pretty good.
close.
Hey,
Well, that's
we're
because we
doing
both we
okay.
both
But
have the
hey,
same we have the same eye
yeah,
for it. We're looking at it similarly, so that's to be expected.
e- exactly. Well, especially when we have that experience, when we kind of see what we see. But let's get into it, Jackie. Let's get into week 8. And the first game is a Thursday night football game. The 3-3 Tampa Bay Bucks travel to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. What do you think?
Well, it's hard for me to see Buffalo losing another ball game, especially after losing to the Patriots the way they did last week. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to bounce back real big, and maybe even gather some momentum to carry them the rest of the season, to make them a more prominent contender for the AFC Championship.
Jackie, I have to agree with you. This is the turning point of the season, and I think if Buffalo's going to make a move, it's going to be now. And they really have that quality team, and they have the quarterback to do it. So I really see that there's some games that you can just say, hey, it's a shoe-in. This is an easy game to pick. Some games are really tough, but this one here I think is pretty much a shoe-in. Okay, how about the Chiefs,
I
who are
agree.
6-1, Jackie? The 6-1 Chiefs are traveling to the Denver Broncos. Broncos had a good win last week. They're 2-4. What
They
do you think?
certainly they certainly did, but have I picked against the Kansas City Chiefs one time this
No,
season?
no,
No, I
no. And
haven't,
you've
and
been
I'm
right
not going to
almost
start
every
right now.
time.
I'm not going to
Well, they're a
start
heavy
now.
favorite. I'm
I'm
going to have
going
to
Kansas
go.
City.
I agree. I'm going with the Chiefs as well, Jackie. So we're right on that one. Okay, here's the game, Jackie. Maybe the game of the week. The Rams have to travel to Dallas. The Rams are 3-4, and the Cowboys are 4-2. What do you think?
It's going to be a good game, and that says a lot in light of what we saw the Rams do this offseason. Getting rid of so many veteran quality players, pass rushers, run stuffers. They got rid of a lot of guys, and they traded in for this young group of leaders that's kind of leading this club right now. And for me to be able to say it's going to be a good game, it says an awful lot. But I'm looking for Dak Prescott and perhaps that defense of theirs to rise above the scrum this time. And for the first time, I find it very difficult to go with my Rams.
Well, I think at home, I think Dallas looks pretty strong. Dak Prescott is hooking up with Brandon Cooks now, Jackie. That's making a big difference. Brandon Cooks, I didn't think was
Yes,
going to be such a surprise for this team, but he's doing a really good job. And so I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys at home in this game, too. Okay, here's the game, Jackie. The Vikings, having beaten the 49ers last week, are 3-4. They have to travel to Green Bay. The Packers are, what, 2-4. Who do you think is going to win that one?
well, I'm going to have to go with the Minnesota Vikings. They came out last week and they did some really special things. I thought Kevin O'Connell really was in control of that team. After he got his couple of young wide receivers, they got these personal foul penalties after they made big plays, and after he got those guys settled down, I think they looked like a much more improved football team, and that's saying a lot when you consider that their star wide receiver is not there and playing for them right now. So I'm looking for Kevin O'Connell to get these guys. He's got a ton of talent. The kid from SC, he's got a ton of guys that can go and make routes, run routes, and catch balls down the field, make big plays. It's just a matter of him, you know, getting everybody together, playing on the same page, and then with the idea that we're trying to win games here, not to show off or not to have a great time out there and all of that. We're here to win games. And I think that's what Kevin O'Connell is still building into the Minnesota Vikings roster.
I like the Vikings. They were impressive last week, Jackie, and that win over the 49ers. And I think you're right. They have more experience. Kirk Cousins had a great game last week. So, yeah, I think they're going to take the Packers down too. So we're in agreement so far. How about this game?
Right.
This is a surprise team. The Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons, Jackie, are 4-3, and they're traveling to the Titans, who are 3-4. Now, I have to tell you first. Okay, the Falcons have been a surprise to me because you mentioned how great their offensive line is, but their running game is really coming together. How creative were they, Jackie, with that one play, that
Uh
influence
huh.
one-way strength, and come back to the weak side, pull the left guard back over and the fullback
Right.
back, and they missed direction, and they ran Cordell
Vince.
Patterson. Cordell Patterson's a good running back, along with uh,
Yes, he is. Yes, he
Robinson.
is.
I mean, this team is they're getting going, man. I'm going with the
And
Falcons.
and Vince, I will have to say this, and this is saying a lot from me. That's the first time I've ever seen a play concocted like that play that
Yes.
you just described that the Falcons run. And you know what? They're doing that because they've invested in a bunch of really bright, young, talented offensive linemen that are capable of understanding schematically, hey, it's one thing to take off and commit yourself this way to really block people, but it's another thing to do that and then stop that and
Mm-hmm.
then reverse field to get up people that block people that aren't expecting you to do that. It takes a unique individual to be able
Yeah.
to gear into those concepts, and I think that offensive line
Yeah.
is one of the best in the National Football League, and the coach is starting to put a little bit more of a burden on these guys. That was a unique play. Perhaps we need to show that to our fans when we get back in studio, but it was a unique
Yes.
play, and
Hmm.
it's one that was very productive for them.
Yeah, Arthur Smith is doing a great job, Jack. He's really getting it unraveled there. And if their running game continues to improve like that, that's going to be a tough team to watch out for. Okay, how about the Saints
Absolutely.
traveling to the Colts? What do you think? What do you think about the Saints
Well,
traveling to the Colts?
I'm going to have to go with the Saints in this one. I still think there's a lot of question marks at the quarterback position and for the Colts. They've yet to settle in on what I see as a scheme that systematically takes advantage of what defenses are giving them. So, because of my feelings there, I just simply can't go with them.
Okay, I got to disagree with you on this one, Jackie, because Derek Carr just doesn't seem to be in the right mood or in the right sync with his receivers. And he's got some good weapons there, but I just don't see it really happening right now for the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Colts to win at home. Okay, here's the
What about the
Patriots
quarterback? What
are two
about
and
the
five.
coach? Which coach are you,
Well, the quarterback,
which coach
yeah,
quarterback are you going?
yeah, Richardson, Anthony Rich. Well, Gardner Minshew's been
He's
doing
been
good,
out. He's
Jackie. I
out.
mean, they've been winning with Gardner. Well, if he's
Yeah.
out, then they got to
Okay.
get
Well.
Anthony Richardson back in the lineup. So, I mean, either one of them at this point, I think they're better than the Saints. So, I'm going to go with the Colts.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
how about your New England Patriots, Jackie? Had a good game last week. Okay, they're coming on. All right, they traveled to Miami to play the 5-2 Dolphins. What do you think? Dolphins are heavy favorite.
Well, the Dolphins,
Tough.
they've got to be favored, and obviously they're very explosive. But if anybody can put people in position to slow this locomotive down, it's going to be Bill Belichick. So I'm
That's
gonna have to
okay.
go with the
Yeah.
Patriots.
You're gonna go there. I'll go with the home team, Jackie. I'll go with the Dolphins. I hate to go against the Patriots, but even
That's
if
okay.
the way they played last week, yes, they have a chance. They can do it. But I'm going to go. I'll just disagree with you. I'll go with the Dolphins. Okay, here's a
All
tough
right.
one, Jackie. The Jets play the Giants. Crosstown rival. Here you go. 3-3 Jets play the 2-5 Giants. Giants,
Well,
playing better football. Tyrod Taylor is playing
yeah,
some good football.
yeah. I'm gonna go with the Giants. Simple as that.
Yeah. Winkendell is doing a better job on defense. They're starting to buy in. And,
They're
after that
starting to
talk he
buy
had a
in.
couple of weeks ago, it's a different team. It's a different team. I'm going with the Giants, too.
Yeah,
Okay, the
and they got
Jags.
plenty of talent. Plenty
Okay,
of talent.
they do. Okay, how about the Jaguars traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers? What do you like?
This is the one. This is the one that I looked at, Vince, that was most puzzling, most difficult. The Steelers suddenly now they're playing a brand of defense that takes you all the way back to our days. have Green and Donnie Shell and Mel Blunt and all these guys. These guys are starting to
Oh
make their
yeah,
mark as individuals on this Pittsburgh defense. And on the other side, Pickens is starting to come around as a young quarterback. He made some throws that were highlighted in the game last week that were just very unique. So for me, even though I like what they're doing, in I like what their opponents are doing. I really do. I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh this week.
you're going to Pittsburgh this time. This is the first time you went up with Pittsburgh. Okay, I'm going to agree with you
I
because I
know.
think they're hitching the trailer. Okay, Jackie, they're starting to get untracked. Okay, they're starting to move, and they understand the importance of a running game. Okay, and with their young quarterback,
Right,
they can make things happen. Okay, so their defense
right,
continues
right.
to play lights out. I'm gonna stick with them. Although the Jags are a good team, all right, but I think Pittsburgh wins at home. Okay, the Eagles, Jackie, are playing the Commanders in Washington. What do you think?
Well, one of the young guys that I trained that plays with the Washington football team texted me just a little while ago and told me he was starting his first game, and I've been thinking, how long are they going to let this kid, sit on the bench? His name is Charles, and I'm thinking right now, if I were an offensive run game coordinator and I put Charles in the lineup, I'm going to feature him as much as I possibly can. He's physical, he's low, he's powerful, he gets movement. I don't care who it is. And so I'm looking forward to watching him and the way they go about deploying him, along with Sam Cosmi, the other talented young offensive lineman that I trained that plays with Washington. So for me right now, my heart tells me that there could be some problems for him, but there's something inside that a little bit deeper that says I got to go with Washington and these young guys that work so hard to be real good pros.
Okay, you're pulling for Washington. I'm going to go with Nick Sirianni, Jackie, and the Eagles. They're 6-1. This is a divisional rival game. They win this game, it's almost like winning two games. So they're gonna come and go to work, and they know what they have to do, and they're gonna get down to the basics. And I like the way Jalen Hurts is playing football. I really do.
I
He's
do too.
taking care of the
I do too.
football, making good decisions. So we'll see. I like the Eagles. Okay, how about the Texans? Jackie traveled to Carolina to play the winless Panthers. What do you think?
I'm going. I'm going with the Texans. D'Amico Ryan's is still working
Yeah.
magic down there. He's gotten that team getting on board with him, and he's a very energetic young head coach. And so I'm going to go with the Texans all the way in this one.
I'm going to go with CJ Stroud too. I'm staying with the Texans. Okay, the Browns travel a long way to the West Coast to play the Seattle Seahawks, Jackie. Both for 4-2. Okay, TJ Walker for the Browns is filling in pretty decent. Looks like he's going to play again this week because they got Deshaun's out of the game. So he's still suffering from that injury from his shoulder. So
Right.
I think I'll have to take the Seahawks in that game. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to go with Cleveland because they're bringing a guy down there with them named Miles
Oh,
Garrett who hasn't been blocked yet.
oh yeah.
He's the top. In my opinion, he's the
That's
front
right.
runner for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't see the left tackle
Yeah.
or the left guard being able to block him and obviously passing downs, and it's going to just put pressure on Geno and whoever it is back there throwing the ball for Seattle. I'm going with Cleveland.
Well, you're right. You're right, Jackie. He's the first player in what, as young as he is at 28 years old, to have 80 or more sacks. So, I mean, yeah,
Right.
he's playing lights out football. But I'm going to stick with the Seahawks. Okay, Jackie, we
And he
got the
blocks
Ravens
kicks.
traveling to. How about the Ravens going to the Cardinals?
I'm going to go with Baltimore. Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
the new offensive coordinator, he threw 4 touchdowns, man. Threw 4 touchdowns last week, and
Yes.
and then he could have probably run for another 4. But I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. The guy is worth every penny that they've given him, and I think he's going to end up being in contention for the MVP of the league this year.
Now, this is one of those games pretty easy to call, Jackie. I'm going to go with the Ravens too because Todd Monken, as experienced as he is, John Harbaugh went on search to get an offensive coordinator. Okay, and he looked at 21 different coaches, and he went with Todd Monken. And this guy designs and he teaches how to play the game, and he institutes this. He's made a great difference in Tampa with Baker Mayfield when he was there. Okay, he's done
Right,
or in
right.
Cleveland. He's been around. He's had great luck with Stetson Bennett when he was with Georgia. So you can see why. This guy designs plays. I saw a play last week they ran with Lamar Jackson. I've never seen it before. Okay? So
Right.
this is what NFL teams have to do from week to week. Put a new play in that no one's ever seen, and it's going to work. Okay, so I'm
Right.
going with the Ravens. I'm getting more impressed with the Ravens every week. Okay, how about the Bengals have to travel the 49ers? 49ers are at home. They lost last week to the Vikings. What happens? Brock Purdy's hurt, by the way.
Uh,
He's in the concussion protocol. They might have to go with Sam Darnold.
yeah, they might have to go with Sam Darnold, which is not all that so bad. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think they're a better team all the way around. I think their defensive front can put pressure on whoever is playing, and I think their offensive line is capable enough to engineer a running game, a force in a running game that allows them to not have to depend on Brock Purdy or whoever the quarterback is. So if you can run the football consistently with a lot of different variety, and then be consistent when you throw the ball like the 49ers have been um, under Shanahan, I think you give yourself a chance. So I'm going with the 49ers.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the Bengals and Joy Burrow because I think it's time for them to. They've had that extra bye week, Jackie. They're going to be prepared for this game. That will be an upset win, but I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Okay, the Bears have to go to the Chargers, Jackie. Here's another game that I think is an easy pick for me. Who do you
I'm
like?
going with the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah. You know
I
why?
don't know who
Because if the
I don't know
Chargers
who the
don't win
Bears
this
quarter.
game,
They're out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
if they don't
who.
win this game, they're out, Jackie.
I can't name one of their offensive linemen in Chicago. Their quarterback situation has been in a flux, a complete flux all season long. And I simply, for me, those two areas right there are so critical to success of a football team. I just can't see Chicago beating very many teams. To me, Chicago is playing for, the first pick in the draft, in my opinion.
Mhm. Well, I have to agree. I got to go with the Chargers too. I think this is the game they have to win, and they're gonna have to do this. Otherwise, their season is pretty much down the tubes. Okay, last game, Jackie's Monday Night Football game is the Raiders have to travel to Detroit to play the Lions. You know, the Lions lost huge last week to the Ravens. I was really surprised how bad they got beat, but I think the Lions are going to bounce back this week and beat the Raiders. Who do you think?
Well, the Lions are a young, upstart team. I think they're kind of surprised at the success that they've had this year so far. Jared Goff has been consistent. He's been consistently getting better, but he's been consistent with some of his ball insecurities too. And I think that concerns me a little bit going into a game like this, because the Raiders are going to be able to put heat on him consistently, and if he doesn't handle it very well, with Max Crosby coming down on him, he could revert to some of those slip ups that he had. So in this particular
Mm-hmm.
case, I'm going with the Raiders.
Okay. Well, we've got our picks in, Jackie. And you know what? I got to catch a flight out of here because I'm coming home, man. I can't wait to get back home to see you guys, and we'll hook up next week. So, Jackie, great job with the picks. We'll see what happens next week, and we'll be back with our viewers. We'll have a lot of fun. So, until next week, Jackie,
Absolutely.
stay on point.
Stay on point.